College football best bets. We're going to get right into it. You'll notice it's just me and no one else is here. Please, please, please go check out our college football preview show. It should be out already. We discussed the big games in depth. This is just more of a dive into the bets that I have placed for the week. I look into my process and what goes into me placing college football bets for the week. So we will get right into it. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but we will start with one of today's games, and I'll go ahead and share my screen. This is kind of the source of truth that I use when I'm placing my bets. I don't have a particular system. I add context to the data. But I use this page and look at the matchups, and I will sometimes go to PFF. Speaking of PFF, I'll actually add that in right now and go look at strength of schedule because those can sometimes adjust for these stats as well. I will also use Parker Fleming's net success rate data. What I will do, I don't want NFL, I want college, and we'll go scores and schedule. We'll have that ready, and then I will also go cfbgraphs.com, I think is, okay, maybe not. cfbgraphs. All right, I can't find it. But Parker Fleming does good work. Love his stuff. So, we'll get right into it. Tuesday, first bet. UMASS plus 10.5. I don't know if it's still there or not. It looks like it's got under 10. Plus 9.5, I would still take it. Look, you look at these stats. Oh my gosh, UMass is awful. But is it 10.5 points worse? I would argue no. We sit here and we look at Akron. UMass has played a slightly tougher schedule, so that can adjust here. Honestly, if I'm looking at this, I probably make UMass a touchdown underdog. Akron is not a good football team either, and I think UMass is able to keep it close. The one thing I'm looking at here, Akron's pass defense, pretty good. But their rush defense is not, and bad teams at worst can usually run the ball. So, and we see here, UMass's rush defense is pretty good. Akron's not going to be able to rush the ball. They don't pass the ball particularly well either. So, I like UMass to keep it close. I don't think they come out on top here, but for today, Tuesday's action, if this gets up, if this is up Wednesday, maybe we already won. Maybe we already lost. I don't know. UMass. Okay. Continuing on to some action. This is a game for Wednesday. Kent State, Ball State. I'm going under 46.5 points. You see here, both offenses awful. Kent State, decent at passing the ball. 81st in EPA per pass. But what I also like to look at with PFF is how quick these teams play. And you see here, this is abysmally slow. Abysmally slow. 61 and 63.3. Offensive snaps per game is rough, and we can even click in here, and I think we can scroll down and look at offensive plays per game. Kent State ranks 136th with 56. Right, not great. And then Ball State, I'm assuming it's going to be a little higher, but it's going to be astonishingly low as well. And look at that explosive play rate. Second percentile in explosive play rate on offense. Offensively, tied for 133rd with 59 offensive plays per game. That's a recipe for a low-scoring affair. I'm talking too much about these games because this is going to be a long video if I keep going this long. We will go next. I believe we're on to Saturday now. So Thursday, Friday, we have nothing. JMU Marshall, I'm taking JMU minus the 12.5. That line may have moved. 13.5, I would still take it ahead of 14. JMU just has Marshall outclassed here. And offensively in the passing game, they may have trouble rushing the ball, but JMU's defense as well. I really don't see how Marshall's able to get any offense going in this game against JMU's defense. That's the big story here, and JMU's going to have no problem moving the ball. I mean, just look at these defensive success rate numbers for JMU. Extremely strong stuff for JMU. Next game, we have our first upset. I think Temple beats Army. Temple's a team that I've ridden as a 6.5 point underdog before. I have them at 6.5. Maybe, nope, it's still at 6.5. You can get plus 6.5 on ESPN Bet. I think they win this game outright. You look at Temple's offense. I mean, they're just going to be able to pass all over this Army defense. Are they going to be able to run? No, but they're extremely efficient when passing the ball, and we even see it here. 17th in offensive success rate when passing. I think that's going to be enough to keep this game close and even etch out a win against Army. So our first underdog upset of Saturday. Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan. This is action that's taking place on a Saturday. I think I'm crackling a little bit here. Let me make sure cords are all good. Okay. Eastern Michigan, -1.5. Make sure the line's still good. Maybe I should, you know what I'm going to do? Shout out to Vegas Insider, because I'm going to pull up their college football odds on another screen just to make sure that everything's still up to date. Eastern Michigan is still a 1-point favorite. I'm going to go Eastern Michigan here. Look at the offense. This is kind of what I like here. Eastern Michigan's EPA per pass. That's a great matchup for them. Defensively, they're not very strong, but that doesn't really matter here because Bowling Green on offense is not particularly strong either. I think Eastern Michigan has the edge here on offense. I'm going to take Eastern Michigan -1.5 against Bowling Green State. We will go... There we go. Sometimes it's tough finding these games. Jacksonville State, UTEP, Coosa, baby. A Coosa matchup. We're going under 49.5, and this is strictly a play on UTEP. UTEP's offense, as you can see down here, 131st in EPA per pass, 131st in EPA per rush. Awful on third down, awful on early downs, but holy cow, their defense is stout. Jacksonville State's not going to be able to pass the ball at all. Maybe they'll get something done on the ground, but I would have to think UTEP's defense is going to be able to limit the defense or the explosives in the rush game for Jacksonville State on the ground. So I like the under here. I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. I think the explosives are going to be limited. Texas A&M, Missouri. I bet this one early. I got the wrong side of it. Right now it's at 47.5, 48, but I took the over and I got a bad number, hand up. I got over 49.5. My reason being, Texas A&M's defense has graded out decently well. They allow tons of points. I don't know where we get these ratings from. Based on this chart, you would think Texas A&M's defense is pretty good. That's not the case. I understand Missouri is going to be without Bo Perbula, but they are going to be able to run the ball in this Texas A&M defense that's ranked 95th in EPA per rush allowed. Missouri is going to, if Missouri puts up 21 points is in the cards, and Texas A&M's a 7-point favorite, so that means 28-21. That's over. So I'm liking the over on this one. I think there's going to be plenty of points, and Texas A&M's defense is not as good as the advanced stats point to. This one's gross. This is the antithesis of Dylan Wilkerson. UConn, Duke, I'm going over. Darian Mensah is one of the highest graded quarterbacks in college football. And UConn's offense isn't bad either. Duke was scoring at will against Clemson. I understand Clemson's defense is not that good, but both these teams play decently fast as well. We can actually go in and take a look at that. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Not much defense is going to be played. Decently fast, about 71 plays per game, respectively. Duke's offense is electric. UConn's going to be able to keep up. I like the over in that game. Another upset we have, I like Kansas over Arizona. Now, surprisingly enough, Arizona's defense has been decent against the pass, but this is what I'm looking at here. Kansas is going to be able to dictate pace. They're going to be able to rush the ball, and I like that matchup for them. We see here the matchups for Arizona's offense and Kansas's defense is a bit more even than Kansas's offense versus Arizona's defense. I like Kansas State to keep it close. I like them to win. It looks like it's +4.5, +5.5 right now. I think they win that game outright. Texas State, Louisiana. I'm taking Texas State -2.5. Again, this was early. It looks like it's at 3 now. We still 2.5 out there. I would take it before it gets to 3.5. Their offense is just going to have Louisiana's defense outclassed in every which way. And you might look at these defensive numbers and think, Dylan, what are you doing? I don't think it's going to matter. Texas State's going to score enough to keep themselves in this game and win by 3 or more points. Another upset alert. We go to the Mountain West. San Jose State, the Trojans, should not be favored against anybody in the Mountain West. That's not true. But for the most part, anybody, especially not this Air Force team that has been so great on offense, right? 3rd in EPA per pass, 10th in EPA per rush. So let's take a look. You might think, hey, can we adjust any of these for schedule? They're about the same. Air Force's has been slightly tougher. Slightly more tough. Air Force's offense keeps them in this game. I was shocked to see that they were actually an underdog here. Let me just make sure what the current line is. Yeah, we got 3.5. Still good. I would take that. I think they win this game. Even the defensive number, I feel more confident about these offensive numbers exposing San Jose State's defense than the contrary. So, we'll keep going. This one, it scares me because this is one of my biggest bets of the weekend. I look and I think, how in the world is Clemson favored? And that worries me. But this is my biggest bet of the weekend. I like Florida State plus 2.5 against the Clemson Tigers. Again, you look at some of these things. Clemson hasn't been able to run the ball this year. 123rd in EPA per rush offensively. I don't see, are you going to trust Cade Klubnik to throw all over this Florida State defense? Are you going to trust the Clemson defense to keep Tommy Castellanos in check? I don't know. And you even consider the context. Clemson's coming off of a game against Duke that went down to the wire, heartbreaking loss, and Florida State's coming off of a game against Wake Forest where they just beat them by 30+. They got to take their foot off the brake late, or foot off the gas. I'm sorry, they got to take their foot off the gas late. I love Florida State in that matchup. That is my biggest bet of the weekend. Wrapping up here, we have 2 more. Back to the Mountain West. Nevada, Utah State, under 53.5. Yikes. Not bad, right? Let's take a look at some of the pace numbers. Nevada itself plays very slow, 63.6 offensive snaps per game. Utah State, decently slow, not crazy, but I like the fact that Nevada's offense is inept and their defense against the pass actually isn't that bad. Utah State is going to have to get it done on the ground, most likely. Munch up that clock, baby. Chew up that clock. Chew it up, chew it up, chew it up. Last game, we go to the island. This one's a little scary, but the line has moved in my favor because I got San Diego State minus 5.5. It's currently minus 7, and I would still take it. You could make a serious argument that this San Diego State defense is one of the best in college football. You would just never know it because they always play at 10 p.m. And they're going to be playing at 11 p.m. this week. They're on the island. It's a tough place to play. I think Hawaii is better than what people give them credit for. You can see they're 6-3. I love this San Diego State defense. You can even see with this success rate stats right here. I don't see how Hawaii is going to be able to move the ball against San Diego State. It may take San Diego State scoring 14, 17 points to cover this game because I don't see how Hawaii is going to score. So, my overall best bets for college football this week: San Diego State minus 7, Florida State plus 2.5, Air Force plus 4.5, and that's what we're going with. I think Air Force wins outright. Guys, thank you for watching. Please go check out our college football preview. SeatGeek, code CarterCast, get $20 off your first purchase of $50 or more using the link below. You can type in CarterCast. Like, subscribe. Let me know if you want more of this. I don't know if there are people out there looking for actual bets, but please let me know. And yeah, go check out the college football preview. Until next time.